Chapter 1, Part 6. Tanya got up from the ground. She was not used to the brightness of the sun, especially without the protection of her helmet. The dislocated shoulder hurt tremendously, and he probably had some broken ribs. "And this one?" asked the dwarf. "She is the firstborn of the king of the dwarfs. Diana, please keep an eye on our guest," ordered the Denkga. "His face is deformed." Diana felt sorry. "It is from birth, we have nothing to do with it," explained Agnorok. They didn't have time to talk anymore, or rest. The eastern side of the wall was giving way. The dwarfs and Albionna's soldiers began to scale the walls. The defenders were retreating, and only because Sabu was there brandishing his double-edged axe holding back the assailants, otherwise that flank would have fallen. "Kritis protects the central door. The rest with me." And there they went. They forgot about Tanya. The truth. The dwarf lay down next to the oxen where a small shadow helped her view. Diana ignored the orders and joined the fight. It didn't matter. Tanya had no intention of escaping, and if she tried anything to help her fellow dwarfs, she would surely be dead the second. After what he had just seen inside the mine, it was certain defeat, though he suspected that with so many people watching, his two captors would not be as deadly as they were inside the mine. Indeed, they were not so lethal, but so little were cut much. It was Agnorok and Gosberg, who had run out of daggers and now fought with a dwarven sword, to reach the eastern front and repel the attackers. Now in the daylight I could see them struggling more clearly. They had a hard-earned fame, accurate, precise attacks, which finished off the opponents in such a simple way that it even seemed like a game. Once the position was settled, Agnorok went to the main gate where Kritis was barricaded. "For the moment we have contained them," announced the dwarf. "I think they know what happened in the mine, but they're going to attack again," Gosberg exclaimed as he jumped through the flames. Agnorok spat. He was tired. He had been fighting for 5 hours and this did not seem to end. At the front were the dwarf troops and those of Albiona. The defeat inside the mines, instead of discouraging them, had spurred them on. The catapults began to throw fireballs at the wooden wall. "We are not going to be able to contain this. There are too many," Kritis complained bitterly. "We have to maintain the position. Anyone who can carry a weapon who is ready to fight, Sebastian," Agnorok ordered the governor of the mine. But the situation was untenable. The rain of balls was so intense that they had to abandon the wall that protected the main gate. The besiegers prepared for the final assault, advancing with the battering ram to finish breaking down the main gate. Agnorok prepared his men in the courtyard. They would give war. They had to be repelled at the door where so many attackers could not pass. Suddenly in the sky a black crow landed on the door and began to peck until a piece of burnt wood fell off. It was a sign from his mother. "Prepare to open the gates and go out to attack." "What do you say? That's crazy," Kritis protested. Gosberg smiled as he climbed onto his son's shoulders. He had been provided with new daggers, which he adjusted to his belt. "Ha ha ha, well, finally something different," the Denkga exclaimed. "Trust me, Kritis. Let's all go," Agnorok shouted. Then, when the battering ram was positioning himself to knock down the door, it opened wide, leaving a flood of mercenaries and soldiers from Demember. The attackers did not expect this and were caught totally off guard. At first they backed down in the face of the improvised attack. But they were well-trained troops and knew that holding the position was crucial to survival. They managed to reorganize their lines, and their numerical superiority made the defenders gradually have to give ground despite their good performance in the use of the sword and the number of casualties they caused. Victory was certain for the attackers at last, all the troops rushing towards the open door while Agnorok barely held his position while cursing himself for having put his brilliant idea into practice. When all was lost, they came attacking from the rear, the legendary wolf riders of the forest of Fambir, accompanied by the archers of Yapi, the spearmen of Alboran and other troops. It was the army of the Dragon Dorsal League that finally came to his aid. The dwarfs and Albionus soldiers were caught in a pincer like the one they wanted to make, but the good thing about having competent generals in command is that they know when a battle is lost. They were not nervous despite the numerous casualties. The dwarfs made their way as best they could, looking for an escape route with their allies. Thanks to their shields they were able to make a corridor through which to escape from the death trap that was now the Red Mines for the Alliance. The defenders, seeing that with the unexpected help the attackers were retreating, did not go after them. They were exhausted since it had been a long siege and a desperate final battle. Agnorok didn't want to fight anymore. It was actually a Pyrrhic victory, but a victory, after all.